There we go. So I think it's live right now.
Let me click over to Facebook.
Yeah, just give it a test. You never know. I might try it on my phone as well.
There we go. So I think it's live right now. Let me click over to Facebook.
Yeah.
Give it a test. You never know. Test. You might try it on my phone as well. There we go. So I think it's live right now. Let me click over to Facebook.
It's running in the background, right?
Alright, cut all that stuff off. I'm getting crazy feedback. It's live.
Oh, it's not us.
It's you.
It's not us, is it? Yeah.
It's not us. It's you. It's not us. It's you. Yeah, do you got it on or something? Because I hear crazy feedback.
They muted.
Ours is closed. Oh.
Yeah. Ours is muted. Try and mute yours for a second.
Well, there's 32 viewers, so we must be live.
Yeah, it's weird the feedback we're getting right now, guys. Sorry about that. This is the first time we've done YouTube live. So, Todd, it seems to have gone for now. But if you mute yourself for a second and just see what happens, because it's coming back on again.
Live. So it seems to have gone for now. But if you mute yourself for a second and just see what happens, because it's coming back on again. Live. So it seems to have gone for now. But
yeah, it's still going on. Hey.
if you mute yourself for a second and just see what happens, it's coming back on again.
Close that and don't rejoin.
Yeah, we'll rejoin.
It's gone for now. But it's still going on. Yeah, what are you doing? Do you have the link open on something else? Because I'm getting like crazy feedback.
Todd, the feedback's on your end, bro. We just hung up and redialed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you doing? Do you have the link open on something else? Because I'm getting like crazy feedback.
Todd, the feedback's on your end, bro. We just hung up and redialed in.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you doing?
That's cool.
Feedback's on your end, bro. We just hung up and redialed in. Yeah. It says we got 39 viewers, so turn off whatever you got in the background.
Oh, man.
Still on this top there. Mute for a second.
Top there. Mute for a second. All right, everyone. Sorry. Give Revv a second to get himself straightened out over here. Mute for a second. All right, sorry. Give Revv a second to get himself straightened out. Mute for a second.
You on or not, Rev? Well, I guess everybody can sit here and just watch me vape until fucking Rev gets back on here. Come on, Rev. I heard him back now. What the fuck you guys doing, man?
Taking coffee.
I heard him back now. All right. I wonder if everybody feedback.
Hey,
Hey,
the feedback is crazy.
jump in the chat and tell us what's going on, if you can hear feedback or not.
We should be good now. We should be good. We had we were checking out the thing, trying to chat to you, so that was that one then. But I think it should be all good now.
Yeah, it sounds a lot better. I'm not getting all that feedback now.
Yeah, he's better.
Oh man. So yeah, I guess with the delay on that, sorry guys, on technical sides, it's the first time we've ever done this, and we have to use like Google Hangouts and all these other things to do it. And if we can, or if this is, I guess, a better solution to do it in future, then we'll do it this way rather than Facebook. If we can reach more people and help more people with it, we'll do it this way. I'm absolutely wrecked, Todd. So I know Curtis too, smashed out, running on empty. Running on empty, like.
I like the YouTube because now we can be. I'll give you guys the passwords and logins, and we can all be centralized and have one place that we do it. That way, everybody's not like, oh, it's on your Facebook or on the 51% group or Crypto Trading Club. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be one centralized place, and that way everybody knows where to go to.
Perfect. Yeah. We've been using Hangouts for a while now. It works really good for us for some of the Debit crew stuff. So, yeah, totally agree. It's a good place to centralize it.
Definitely. So I'm just going to go through the, I guess, Facebook page and let them know that it's all up and running again, just so, because some people are like, what the hell is going on there? And it's like, it is what it is. It's the first time, you know, whatever. Yeah. Right, we sorted it out.
So I suppose, you know, we've jumped online tonight. You know, it's been a bit of a rough week, or a rough couple of days in the market. So maybe we were just going to have a bit of a test run with this Hangout.
The fuck you doing?
It's not me. It's not us. Like,
we're not doing anything great.
We don't know what that is. It's the most randomest thing out.
I hear some of your like porno rap music or something you playing. What was that?
We're Christian.
This is Big Baby Jesus. He breaks the bread.
We're Last Supper.
Drinks the red. But I think there's some sort of interface happening, or some sort of what would you call it?
I don't know what's going on here.
It doesn't matter. But you know, with what's happening in the market, I guess do you really want to talk about that and see where I guess Todd?
Yeah, I suppose for this first Google Hangouts test run, let's just talk about there's a couple of things here. The current market. Rev and I have been talking a little bit about Bitcoin Cash this last 24 hours and how what's some of the manipulation that's going on with it at the moment as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, who wants to kind of pull something out of nowhere?
Well, there's a certain individual really running with this at the moment,
right? And then you come out of nowhere and you make billions out of thin air and start distributing it to everyone and saying, this is the way to go, and 8 megabit block sizes is going to save Bitcoin, and this is the, we need to scale, and this is the way to scale. It's not the way to scale, unfortunately. Bitcoin's scaling like quite fine right now, SegWit, as it is. Transactions in like 3-4 minutes is pretty good.
I think so. I'm pretty happy with a 5-minute transaction. What about you, Todd?
I was just flipping over to Bitfinex for a minute to see where the hell we're at.
Right. I got up
Bitcoin.
Yeah, because like I told you guys earlier, man, I won't support this Bitcoin Cash. It got up $1,700, $900 or whatever it was, and I just dumped that shit, man. You know, I just I can't.
It's unethical, right?
I mean, like you said, they just created a bunch of money out of thin air, and you've seen how the market cap jumped billions of dollars. Like, this money wasn't invested in the market. We're getting a false positive,
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
So what kind of message does that send?
But this whole Chinese thing that popped, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Like, they're just stirring the pot like normal to get cheap Bitcoins. Like, it was a joke. Like Friday or whatever, I was on YouTube, and if you go in and Google or not Google, look in YouTube for China bans Bitcoin, South Park. There's
it's a great little video.
It's pretty funny, but that's not the point I'm getting at. If you look at the video, it was posted 3 fucking years ago. 3 years ago.
Yes.
So I mean, what does that tell you? Like, all of a sudden now, 3 years later, they're like, oh, let's say we ban Bitcoin again and get it cheap.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years this has been going on. Take a hint. Like, seriously, take a hint. Like, all right, yeah, they might want to do like the ICOs because, the U.S. is jumping up and down about it and the commodities market and all that. But China is not going to ban Bitcoin. Like, they might regulate a couple things, but they're not going to ban it. It's just not going to happen. Like, you can't ban Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You can regulate the exchanges, but you're not going to be able to just like say, all right, this is illegal, because essentially, some people are going to listen, but then you're always going to have people that are just not going to listen. Like, that's the whole point of Bitcoin. It's decentralized, and we're not going to, fall victim to these governments over what they say we can and can't do with our money. That's the whole entire point of Bitcoin.
Yeah, 100%. And you look at Bitcoin, and then I can't stress this enough. There's a reason why Satoshi walked away and vanished off the face of the earth. It's because he doesn't want any entity, any company, anything to be a part of Bitcoin and the face of Bitcoin. It's like what Roger Ver has actually done with BCH right now or Bitcoin Cash, if you must say. What he's done is pretty much put a face and, in a sense, centralizing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's why I won't support it. I mean, the reason I got into Bitcoin was because, I'm a world traveler. Everybody knows that. And I needed a easy way to get money across borders without a bunch of hassle and without a bunch of expense. I opened a bank account when I first left the country, and they were charging me around $88 to do a wire transfer. Yeah. And at the time, I was in my, mid to early 20s, or, my mid 20s. And this was like when Bitcoin first started, and I'm looking and I'm going, man, you know, I'm making, you know, I was like only making a couple $100 a week. So to get a wire transfer every week from my paycheck and they're taking $88 of it, I'm like, geez, man, this is eating up like 15–20% of my paycheck in this one fee. So that's how I like started researching, and I was like, man, this is kind of cool, you know? I mean, I can send this over and do a little trading here and there, and next thing I know, I was an addict.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful part about Bitcoin. We almost all adoption has come because someone was searching for, up until, you know, January, February this year, almost all adoption came through an individual searching for a payment system that was easier or cheaper or more convenient. And that's how they came across Bitcoin.
It solves a real problem.
Exactly.
It does. It does. Earlier this year, I was working in South Korea, and I had the same problem. I was always transferring money back and forth to Australia, and to transfer like $1,000, I'm getting slapped like a $90 fee. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. You know, this is why. You know, and then as soon as the whole, you know, setting up the Bittrex accounts and stuff like that, it just made so much more sense, and the speed of it as well, right?
Oh well, yeah, it was really fun.
People complain about, oh, Bitcoin's slowing down, Bitcoin's slowing down. Do a wire transfer, an international wire. It takes days, days.
4 days. 4 days to get some money. Right.
So, and you know, when people are starting to, I guess, complain about a slowed down process, it doesn't matter as long as the transaction is in there and you're starting to see some sort of confirms, you're all good. You can walk away and that transaction should be fine. Double check it in 15 minutes and come back to it, whatever it is, right? But honestly, I do not agree with the centralizing Bitcoin Cash and putting a face to it and bringing on vulnerabilities with an 8 megabit block size. You know, you can attack that thing, and if the node chases, if a spy node chases a pool and gets ahead of that pool, forget about it. And if it stays ahead of that pool, you know, at the end of that 8 megabit block size and kicks in on the next block, you're stuffed. There's much more vulnerability out of having a bigger block size than rather than having a small one, a smaller 10-minute every single block size. So I guess I'm all for Bitcoin till this day, and I still will be all for Bitcoin. And Satoshi knew what he was doing, obviously, from day one, you know, exchanging emails and stuff with him back in the past, and, you know, having a chat to him on forums and stuff like that. He knew exactly what the plan was, and he executed it so well.
I mean, he might be. I have a feeling he's dead. You know, I mean, either he's assassinated or something, or you never know. I mean, I've heard so many conspiracy theories about it, but
Yeah.
You know, from the Genesis block, they haven't moved. So.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Genesis block.
Yeah. For the people that are listening.
You said for the people that are listening, what is the Genesis block? Oh, the Genesis block was the very first block mined in the blockchain back in, what was it, January of 11?
09.
09, yeah.
9, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so that when the 0.1.0 protocol was released was Jan 3rd, 09, and you can actually see that in his writings and backtrack on it. I have a link somewhere where you can go check it out. And then he released 0.2, I think it was in March, from memory.
You can go right on. Wikipedia has it. You can go right in there and just Wikipedia Bitcoin, and it'll give you all that. First Genesis block, everything.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting times. You know, and I think it was a bit rushed. Don't get me wrong. I truly believe Bitcoin was rushed, and it wasn't fully finished, and that's why he stuck around for another 2.5 years and then vanished, was because you know, we had the financial crisis, and then smack, you got Bitcoin. You know what I mean? It didn't just happen overnight. This thing was worked on for a few years, but I think it was rushed because it was the perfect timing to be like, here's your financial crisis, and you know, and the US really got hit, right? A lot of people in the US got hit, and then Bitcoin was released.
He's your savior.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was such perfect timing, even though it wasn't fully ready and implemented to run. He stayed around for another 2.5 years and finished off what I believe he's finished it off to his standard.
So it was sort of like released in like the perfect storm environment, right? Like this is a perfect time to release this thing. Yeah. Let's push it out and then let's sit back and try and finish it off.
Yeah. And how many times has it helped people? I mean, Todd, it's helped you countless times. It's helped me countless times. It's helped so many people all over the world countless times get their stuff done on time and efficiently at a cheaper, much cheaper rate, without having a trusted third party involved. That's like, thank you very much. it's heaven, I'm telling you, when it comes to processing payments.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I was just thinking off topic or whatever. Can we set up a widget for the 100% counter?
Oh, I can't do it.
Say 100%, right? And we can have a contest for some like free crypto or something in the groups. How many times Revv will say 100%? That's my next contest. In the next YouTube video, how many times will he say it? That was okay, I'm gonna go away some crypto, okay?
Let's do it.
Let's do that. Maybe we could run a bet. It'd be a decent bet.
You can have us bet on everything.
Oh man.
Gambling addict.
So I guess you know, we've had a bit of a chat on BCH and Bitcoin, and it's a massive debate that's going to keep on going for a few, I guess, months or years. Time will only tell, right? At the end of the day. But is there anything else you want to have a chat about, Todd?
I think the main concern, what everybody's looking at, is where is it going? You know,
right?
I'm gonna flip over my screen or whatever and look at the charts. But if you notice, everybody is so concerned about China banning Bitcoin. But I'm noticing, I'm paying attention closely. When is all the volume spikes? When is the price getting driven up? It's during the U.S. markets. The U.S. is the one controlling Bitcoin.
Correct.
At the current time, I mean, it's changed, but look how it dumped overnight, and it's dumping every night. They're dumping it every single night, the Chinese, and it's recovering during the day. And they tried to pull that stunt on Friday, and it didn't work. Like, I really don't think it worked because all the traders, the institutions, were sitting at the trading desk, and they ate it up. Like, they couldn't get it down.
Yeah.
I was just watching on Bitfinex, order after order, 100 BTC, 100 BTC, 100 BTC on the books, and they were just chewing up the cheap Bitcoins. Just like now. I woke up 5:30 this morning, was like, all right, I'm going to check the market, see if I can get a good entry from them dumping it overnight. I got in right around 4,000, and it's already up to 41.68. You know, since the U.S. woke up. They started waking up around 7 a.m., and it's now like, you know, 10 a.m. So 3 hours, it's already jumped $150. And it's going to climb up today, and it's going to go back down tonight. So if you're smart and you want to make a lot of money, you wake up, you know, 3, 4 a.m. New York time and get some Bitcoin. It's going to go back up during the day.
7 a.m. 7 a.m. New York time, it starts to move.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm looking at this, and, you know, I'm way in the green for the day already. You know, I'm 160 something bucks, $160 up on each BTC I'm on.
Yeah, and that excludes leveraging, if you're leveraging at all. You know, if you have some sort of leverage on it as well, margin trading.
If you look at all the news that came out at the same time that all these dips come down, I mean, you could put the charts up and look at NEO, OMG, did Quantum take a dip? All these come out to get everything. And if you do the fundamentals and roll it back, when the Twitter post comes out, when the Bitcoin talk post comes out, when all the chat groups comes out, all the news comes out, and then all the dips happen at the same time. You don't think that was ever planned?
Of course it was planned, you know?
Right? it done exactly what they wanted to, and then you got all these weaky shake hands out there that shit themselves and drop it, you know, which is understandable. Everyone goes through these cycles, but we try and educate people as much as possible we can to try and ride these out.
And you can't blame people, right? There's a lot of new.
What was my post on Friday? You're not fooling anybody. You know?
Right? Yeah.
Right? And
You're not fooling nobody, man.
Exactly. They're not fooling the veteran trader. They're fooling the new, the masses that have come on board now.
In the last week, several weeks.
Yeah, or even several months, 3-4 months. They're actually shaking them and they're rocking that boat that they've just jumped on. And they're kind of saying, oh, is it safe? Should I even, the waters are, the ocean's really rocky. I probably shouldn't jump on this ship. I might even consider jumping off. So I think that's what's happening with a lot of the newer people that are jumping in the crypto market, because they don't understand and they haven't had the chance and time to understand. So it's understandable. And, we're not judging you, but just do us a favor. And then do yourself a favor. Go have a look at Bitcoin. Go have a look at the dates that it actually dropped. Go have a look at the days that it went for a run. And then go look online and try and search those dates and what news came out on that date, and look back to when it started all the way through. I guess that's the best advice I can give anyone that's new in crypto trading altogether. Because if you're not doing that, then you don't understand where it's come from and where it's actually going.
Well, the best thing to do when anybody starts to worry is go back and flip onto the one-day chart. Go look at the one-day chart. Ask yourself this: when was the last time Bitcoin didn't go back up? I tell everybody that, and I'll keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. When was the last time Bitcoin did not go back up?
Yeah. It's a period over time, right?
I just want one example. That's it. One example when it didn't go back up. And I'll sell everything.
Please, someone make the call.
Exactly.
I mean, one time I sell everything.
For the people watching right now, Todd just says it as it is. And I love that about him. That's what I love. It's raw. And then you've got me who tries to kind of delve in there and hold your hand into understanding it. So, and that's why this works, you know what I mean? And then you got Connolly here, freaking smashes the news. So for the people that are live right now, thank you so much. But Todd, you're not wrong. When was the last time Bitcoin didn't go back up?
I know so many people that bought Bitcoin for the first time just this week, because Revv and I have been going around Melbourne and I was in Perth doing crypto meetups, and like people buying Bitcoin for their first time, buying it at like the peak. And now they're all at like 4,100 and they bought it at 5,000. They're all like freaking the fuck out right now.
Yeah.
But we all go through these, it's this pattern, right? And then we all see it go back up again, just like you said, and it will crack 5,000, 5,100, 5,200, and then go back up again, So it's just this pattern, and you're perfectly right, Todd. Go back and tell me when it didn't go back up.
Straight up. Today, you can't say it didn't. It never did. It always has.
High. Show me the last time it didn't go back up, and I'll sell everything. That's what I tell you.
That's it. We're holding it down.
Everyone on this call, hold this down.
I was buying Bitcoin when it was less than $200.
Yeah.
And I remember one time it got up to like $400. I'm like, man, I done double my money. Next thing I know, it crashed to like 150 bucks. I'm going, oh man, like this is detrimental. I was new to this. I was like, man, I just lost like over half of my money. Like, oh man, like I know that feeling. And then I sit there and think about it now. I'm like, well, it drops $800,000 on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I was worried about $100 back then.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it's sort of like what a lot of people are going through with Neo at the moment. We got in Neo very early, and then it ran up to $14 and then crashed all the way back down to $4, and then it's right up to $30 and then back down to whatever, and it's
$60 and down.
And we just wrote it all out, and it's going to go back up. We know it's going to go back up there again, So
to date, this guy has not sold a single share of Neo.
And I got in at $1.35.
Madness. They told him to take some sort of profit, but he just doesn't want to. He kind of, and I understand how he feels, because Todd, you might actually relate to this. There's no real feelings that you have to any particular coin. You shouldn't, because then you get you start emotionally trading. But for me, Bitcoin has always been that one coin that I just can't sell off, or I always want to hold as much as I can. It might be the same for you with Bitcoin. It might not be. I'm not sure how you look at it or how early you adopted Bitcoin and started using it. So, but for me, I guess that's I know how you feel, and you know, I'm not going to judge you on it.
The thing with Bitcoin is Bitcoin. What I bought Bitcoin for, Bitcoin will never see that price ever again.
Right.
I will never see Bitcoin that cheap ever again. So this to me, like $1,000 move, like the higher we get up and the more value that Bitcoin has, the more violent it's going to be, because it's going to take a larger spread to move that a percentage. So the longer we go up, the more violent it's going to be. We get up in the $20,000 range. I mean, it'll drop $5 grand.
We're going to see swings like this.
And yeah, I've said it multiple times.
Think about it. Like a $20,000 Bitcoin, to move it 10%, it's going to have to drop $2,000. And a 10% market move on Bitcoin is nothing nowadays. It'll do that in a weekend. So you're going to be watching Bitcoin drop $2 grand, and you're going to go, oh shit. And I don't even pay attention to that. It doesn't even faze me anymore. Bitcoin's going down, short it.
Yeah.
Short it and hedge and wait for it to go back up. You keep shorting enough and hedging, then your value stays the same of your Bitcoins, and you're making money when it goes back up.
100%. So I guess we've kind of had a chat about that end of stuff. And like I said, it can go on forever. You know, we can have a conversation about this on and on and on and on, and it just won't end, because it's such a huge subject and there's so much to cover. But there's one thing that we wanted to cover, and that was security. So now that we know how this works, now that we have this all set up the right way, I'm assuming we can do a security video very shortly. But I am traveling for the next 4 days. 2 days.
Yeah, I really want to touch on that subject. Like, I can't instill on it enough about security, because if you go into these, like, you know, Bittrex, Slack, and all these different groups, and people are talking about getting hacked and things like that, it's 99.9% user error, and they're blaming it on everything and anything. And the blockchain itself is working flawlessly. I have yet to see an incident where the blockchain, you know, got hacked directly. Usually user error or exchange, you know, violence.
Yeah.
So the problem is, you need to really get in and take a good look at security and what you're doing. You need to have a hardware device to keep your medium-term coins on, like a Ledger product or Trezor or something like that. If you're serious about crypto like I am, I have an air-gapped computer that literally I don't even log into Facebook with it. It's strictly to use for crypto. I mean, yeah, it'll cost you $2,000 or $1,000, somewhere in that range, for a nice MacBook or something, or a MacBook Air. But think about it, man. What do you want to? You want to lose $100, $200, $300, $400,000 once you get serious about Bitcoin? Hell no, man. Buy yourself a laptop, air gap it properly, whitelist your IP addresses, which is a very common thing people do not do. You need to whitelist all your, you know, IP addresses and your wallet addresses for these exchanges. That way, if somebody does get in, they have to get through your two-factor authentication. Then they have to figure out how to unwhitelist your address. And the more security steps you have, the more difficult of a target it makes you. Don't get me wrong, nothing is 100% safe, but they're going to go move on to an easier target. If they get into Bittrex or Bitfinex or one of them, they're going to go for the easiest, fastest targets. They're going to get in, they're going to get the coins, and they're going to get the hell out before they're noticed. So if you're a hard target, more than likely, they're going to leave you alone and move on to the guy that has lower security.
Yeah.
So white your addresses. I can't say it enough. Air gap a computer. Get a ledger. Do all the proper necessary steps. I mean, if I need to take the time to write all this and put down a bullet points list for everybody, I will do it. I do not want to see everybody lose money. Because when people lose money, they get discouraged. And I want to see everybody happy. Like, that's one thing, like, I've never believed in it. At first, people were like, oh, your group pumps and dumps on people. No, I want to see everybody make money. Because when people make money, they basically, they're happy. And that means more adoption for Bitcoin and more adoption for crypto, and the price will go up, and that's how I make my money. I don't make my money buying and manipulating and dumping on people. That's ridiculous. So the more people that are happy, the more money people make, then the more money I make. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah, we couldn't agree more. And we've always, every time we speak to people, we're always trying to help with mass adoption. And if people feel secure when trading in crypto and Bitcoin, and they're not so panicky. I mean, I know people that won't even log into their Bittrex accounts. They just, they're scared to log into their Bittrex accounts. Yeah. And the reason why they're scared is because of all the hack stories that you hear. But if your security is pretty tight, then you shouldn't be too worried about that.
Well, another thing that is a common issue is these phishing scams. And what you need to do is you need to go in and pick one single web browser that you use for crypto. If you want to use Chrome, Firefox, whatever, Opera, doesn't really matter, but save these websites to your favorites. That way you're not mistyping them or clicking, never click links in your emails. Don't do any of that crap. Save it to your favorites, double, triple, quadruple check it. Make sure it's Bittrex.com, not, Bittrex, B-L-I-T-T or something that's like, they're trying to get you with, and save it to your favorites. That way, you know every time you're going to the secure, proper place, and you're not getting fished out.
And it's got the secure padlock at the top as well. It's just, it takes a couple of seconds to double check the link that you're clicking on that you've got saved, right? If you're going and typing it in every time, well, you're going to get hurt. Or if you're dropping on an email and it's got this is the new Bittrex upgraded link, why the fuck would they do that? But people do click on that sort of stuff, and bang, they're in.
Yeah. 100%. It's a touchy subject. It really is.
Yeah, totally.
It's a very, very touchy subject, and I guess there is ways to get around it, and ways to have things in cold storage or an air-gapped laptop or a computer. You can do it that way as well, and you have Legend Nano S's right now that do really well. You have Coinmama, which isn't fully offline. Obviously, it's on a Android device, which I don't necessarily like.
I don't like Android. I don't know why. It's just
same.
There's something about it. It doesn't sit right.
iPhone all the way, right? But although it is there to be used, it's cool as long as you don't lose your seed words. But I just don't like the Android aspect of it. I can't wait for them to release it on the App Store for, the Apple side of the world. There was something that I was going to touch on, but I've totally forgotten what it was. So if it comes back to me, I will mention it.
Todd, are you still seeing delays with the ledger? I mean, you go to order a ledger, it's like a 3-month waiting list to get there. Don't you have to ask me about it?
Actually, another thing that I got going right now is I'm in discussion with Ledger. And I've been talking to the owner back and forth all week. Excuse me. And we're going to have some branded ledgers made. And right now, the count's going to be about 500, and they're going to say 51% crew. And the cool thing about that is once they're made and printed up, they'll be immediately ready for shipping, because there's not going to be a waiting list for them, because obviously they're already done. They want to move their products. And I'm trying to negotiate it where it's within the same price or within, a couple of dollars of it. But what makes it cool is I have multiple ledgers, and because you can only hold so many coins on, so many keys on each one. That way you can have, 4 or 5 keys per one and distinguish between them. All right, the one that says 51% crew has my Neo, my Bitcoin, and my Ethereum on it. And it'll be distinguishable. Plus, it's a cool little touch, some branding for everybody. I figured the community would enjoy it. But that's my next project I'm working on.
Yeah, well, that's cool. And that's cool to know, because, I get a lot of people that say, oh, I want to get a ledger, but it's like 3 months to get these things, I was in Vegas and I was sitting there with Chris Hensley. I'm like, yeah, let's get some nanos. I'm going to get them sent to your house while I'm here in Vegas. And he's like, it's a 3-month waiting list to get these things,
Well, I think they're in stock. Like they're doing better, but they left on the website that they won't ship until some date, because that way people won't get upset if they don't happen to ship them. But
right, that's expectation, right?
Yeah, they have been shipping them, and I notice also if you use certain links, they'll ship them faster.
Certain links?
Yeah, like the one that I have that I noticed they're shipping out quicker, it's my tracker link. Because what that does is it tracks how many each ledger that is going through that link. And that way, for their advertising promotions and advertising things, it almost puts you at the top of the list if you use this link. But that's the way he explained, because they're keeping track of who is posting where and for their marketing. So if their marketing area is targeted at a certain point and that's the one that's making them all the money, obviously they're gonna focus on that more and take care of those better. So just going directly to the ledger site isn't always going to get it to you as fast. I have the link for everybody that will get it to you quicker. I mean, you know, but that's one of the things that they're doing also. It's just a marketing thing for them. Yeah.
And do you flip between different, you know, hard wallets, or are you just plainly sticking with Ledger at the moment?
I have them all sitting on my desk. But I have different levels of things, and I spread out everything, because $100 for a ledger is nothing for security to me. So I literally don't keep all my Bitcoins on one ledger. They're spread out through a dozen of them.
Yeah.
That way they're all separate private keys, and I have everything backed up. You know, my lawyer has a copy, my father has a copy, in case something would happen to me or something, and things like that. But I prefer to break everything up. The more you have, like, obviously the less of a target that one wallet will be. So I keep all your eggs in one basket. You know, for $100, buy yourself 3, 4, 5 ledgers, man. You know, it's not like the market's not going to make it for you. Bitcoin will go up $100 a day. You know,
100%, and that's what I mean. I've told you how many times, countless times. You need to always have someone that. What this is a Ledger Nano S right now in my hand. I've told people countless times you need to have multiple of these, or a security type thing where you don't hold everything in one. Divide it up in 3, 4, depending on how much you actually have. So if one gets attacked, well, then the other 10 are fine, or the other 9 are fine. Make sure someone in your family has, you know, your seed words for this thing. You know, your passwords, all these things. Someone that you trust, highly trust, needs to have all these things. Because God forbid, if something were to happen to you and you've got a couple of $100,000 in these things, or, you know, some people in the millions, on these hard wallets, and God forbid something happens to you and you pass away, and your family is out there trying to get by, yet they didn't know how to get on this, even though they know you have.
They're over there struggling away to pay for your funeral when you got $1 million sitting there that they can't access. That's crazy, man.
Right.
I'm not leaving my hanging. I'm not leaving my dad hanging. They both got copies of my seed phrases. I got another backed up sitting in my lawyer's safe at his house personally. You know, that's the level that I take this to. Like, he literally has it sitting in his safe at his house, and he has instructions with it. It's somebody that I trust. Like, you know, I've known him for 20 years. He's a great guy. I mean, if anybody has any questions or whatever, I can always introduce you to the gentleman. You know, he's not going to screw anybody. You know, give him a couple $100 retainer fee. That way, he's legally binding by your lawyer, and set it up, give him the keys, he'll put it in the wallet. He knows what's going on with Bitcoin. I mean, he's an older guy, obviously, but he knows what the deal is, and he'll be able to, you know, assist your parents or your loved ones, your wife, your dog, whoever you want to give your Bitcoins to. And, you know, do something like that, like, and have all your 2-factor authentication codes there, and somebody that's trustworthy, a third party. You gotta be secure.
And that's the thing as well, like, Kurt just mentioned, he's like, I really haven't told anyone, but Rev, you know mine. And I'm going, yes, I do, you know. So obviously this man trusts me. I almost know all these, and that's the thing with me. I have a almost photographic memory. If I see someone or do something once, and a very good memory, that I'll remember it. And he knows that if he's ever going to forget it, I'll remember. There was a guy when I was up in Melbourne. we're sitting there and he goes, Rev, what was my password that I made for Bitrex? Because I can't get in. I haven't been able to get in for the last 2 months. And I'm like, are you freaking serious? You don't remember your password? And he goes, no. And I'm like to him, what's your email? And he started writing his email. And I'm like, stop halfway. Let me finish it off. So I finished off his email. And then I entered his password because I remember writing his password out for him and the way he wanted it, 6 months prior. So Azam, if you're on this, do mention it because I got your account back, mister. And it's it's funny. You always need to have that one person, right, Todd?
Yeah,
at least one person.
You definitely do. And I'm about to look for something and post it in the chat or whatever about how to do a password properly. A lot of people don't do their passwords properly, and it's just crazy. You need to use a passphrase.
And there's thousands on the line, like hundreds of thousands of times. And how are you going to know what it's going to be worth in 2 years' time? And you don't care about this stuff, like the password?
Let's talk about something else, Todd. Do you use Gmail or do you use something like Pronto Mail?
Hell no, I don't use Gmail. That's the dumbest thing you can do. Proton Mail is where it's at.
Right. So, like for people that don't know about Pronto Mail, Proton, sorry. It's a Swiss email setup, right? They run off a Swiss server.
I'm not too sure. Todd knows quite a bit about it. I'm not too sure.
I'm putting the link in the chat right now for Proton Mail. I'm going to start dumping all these links in the chat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Proton Mail is cool because, I even send them a couple, some Bitcoins or whatever here and there because they're crypto supporters, and it's free. And their security is, great. I mean, they're really into crypto, so they know how security works, and they back our community. So I support them also. So far I put the Ledger link in there for the tracker. I put the Proton Mail. I'm going to include a bunch of links on the video or whatever once it's actually posted and uploaded, so you guys can go back and refer to things about security. Just different protocols we use. But as far as passwords, don't use a common password. It's just the brute force attacks will get them, and it's very common to hack at those. Use
something like a Revv 14.3 would get through a common password through Backtrack 5 on a Linux-based system on a virtual machine.
Yeah, of course. I'm trying to find this write-up I wrote in in our crypto group or whatever about security. It had how to do the passwords and everything. I don't know why Facebook doesn't let you do the search function. I know I use these keywords and it's not showing it to me.
Yeah, it's all over the place at the moment, isn't it, with Facebook?
Another thing with Ledger Nano, a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't hold that many coins.
It holds quite a bit.
But it's evolving over time, like everything with crypto, right? And now, I know for those that don't know, that Rev and I sit in a WeChat group with the Neo team, that Dahong Fane that sit in there, and we're seeing stuff all the time that's coming out of that. Where they're really trying to progress with Neo. But I know that when I first started learning about Ledger, I was like, it only holds 4 or 5 coins, and I only have 1 coin that sits on that.
I think it's 7 or 8 now.
Yeah,
Stratus got added. Stratus Zcash got added.
Yeah, these things don't happen overnight. There's technology, there's code that has to be written to get onto these things, right? So I know that a lot of people are like, oh, I can't be bothered with the hardware. Well, I'm just going to go with the simple piece of security.
Yeah, well, if it can be kept on a hardware wallet, it needs to be kept on a hardware wallet at a minimum. Air gap computer, that's getting a little overboard for certain people, but I'd say range, if you have anything over $100,000, then you really need to air gap a computer. And that's just where it's at. Because I mean, think about it, man. 100 grand. So you're gonna spend $1,000 on a MacBook Air or something, and brand new out of the package. Don't buy something used. Don't use something you have sitting on the shelf. Buy one brand new that's never been hooked up online, and just call it a day. Because $100,000 is a lot of money to a lot of people, and to protect that for $1,000, spend the money, man. Stop being cheap. Because it's gonna. The last thing you want is to wake up and say, "Oh, let's log into my account." Next thing I know, because you're keeping everything on Bitrex and you did something stupid, now you're out $100,000, And you're going to be like, damn, Todd told me to buy that laptop and spend $1,000 bucks. Now I could have bought 100 of these laptops.
Yeah, it'll bite you in the ass if you don't do it. It's a crucial part. It needs to be done. But there will be something, like I said, I've mentioned this a few times to a few people, something that will come out in future that will, I guess, change that aspect. I can't really say much anymore of it, but, you know, how can I say this? For now, these are the alternatives.
Yeah, Ledger,
Trezors, Ledger Nano S's, Ledger Blue.
Have you got the Ledger Blue, Todd?
The thing
hold on, let me get the Ledger Blue. Don't buy the Ledger Blue.
No, that's what I was going to say. Don't buy the Ledger Blue, because what happens is it depends on where you live. If it's a humid place or a hot area that you're from, the
LCD screen, is it?
Yeah, it comes off, and it's not being built to the proper way, I guess, because of, you know, weather conditions the way you are.
Right.
So, like, if you're somewhere in Melbourne, you're fine, because it's mostly cold, cold. But if you're somewhere humid, let's see what Todd's doing. What are you doing, Todd?
I'm going to show you the Ledger Blue. Okay. Keep in mind, look, this thing still has a screen protector on it. This thing has never left my house. It has never even been in my pocket. It literally went between sitting on my desk and sitting on the shelf in my closet. And that's it. It's never been dropped. It's never been abused. Like, this was my cold one. So I literally would only use this thing maybe once a month, like tops. And it came unglued from the pressure of it. And let's see if I can show this to you.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what happens to them in a humid area, unfortunately.
I don't think it's humidity, because it's not really that humid here, and I've never had this happen to any other electronics. But I mean, look at this.
Have you hit them up about that, Todd?
What?
Yeah,
I fucking flipped shit on them, and they fucking sent me my money back. They paid me back. Like, they knew, and they basically acknowledged they knew this was happening. And I'm like, well, then why don't you resolve it or recall this or something? You know, people are spending good money with your company, and it's not right to do this to them. And they were like, oh, version 2. Well, what about version 1? I got version 1. I spent almost $300 on this thing. And, you know, they sent, and after a big argument, and they realized who I am and figured out, they were like, oh, man, you know, I told them, I said, I'll blast you online. I was like, don't make me put this out there.
Yeah.
And basically, they were like, they finally, after I said that, they sent me the money, the Bitcoin to my wallet without an argument.
Todd,
and I mean, look at this.
Did you just show that online?
Because I'm trying to protect the community, man. I'm not going to let people get off.
Nonetheless, the Ledger Nano S is amazing. It's incredible.
Oh no! I got that. I got handfuls of these things. Never mind. Here's one sitting here. I didn't have to go in the closet and get it. This thing.
Yeah, represent. I love it.
No, but I'm telling you, top notch. This is quality. This is great. I've never had a single issue. I got probably 11 of them, maybe 12. I got like 11 or 12 of these. Piece of shit. Don't buy it. But this is great.
It's incredible how alike we are, bro. How many did I tell you I've got?
Yeah, same.
12. I've got 12 Ledger Nano S's. It's funny as shit.
I'm like, literally, every time they're like, oh, I see a thing, they're like, I'm adding a couple coins. I'm like, all right, I'll buy like 3 more. I should have just bought like 20 of them and called it a day, but I didn't know if they were going to come out with like an upgraded firmware or something, or, you know.
Exactly, and you don't want to take that hit right there. And then if you have distributed it in the right way, you're fine at that point in time. You know what I mean? Evenly, you're happy with the distribution. It's like, yeah, I'll wait. Maybe they might bring out something better. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. One of the best products I've used has been the Ledger.
I was so excited to get this blue, and it was cool. Like, I was like, man, this is awesome. You know, it holds more keys, and it's got a touch screen on it. Looks a little bit more, you know, easier to use, like without like having to like click all these buttons. But man, I literally keep going right back to the Nano S. Yeah,
I'm hearing you. Did the same thing. I did the same thing, literally. But I guess we have touched on security now, and you know, we've spoken about a few things. How long have we been going for? Like an hour?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. You know, we can come back to the security side of things and put together the right things, and maybe have a few questions for you, Todd, as you take it to the next level with security. I guess for me, I can't really disclose how I do my things with security because it's a bit different to the traditional way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give everybody proprietary information or anything, obviously, how I do my security, but I can definitely put together like a bullet points list of at least a checklist that minimum requirements that you need to have to secure your Bitcoins. And the next level, obviously, of air gapping a computer, but that will be, you know, that's for you to figure out. Like, that's just, I'll tell you that's what you need to do, but I'm not going to tell you how to do that. And
there are sources out there on how to go about and actually doing that. So, but yeah, I guess, you know, we've kind of covered quite a few things right now. What time is it here? It is 11:30 p.m. We're wrecked.
We're knackered.
But man, thank you so much for your time, Todd, and thanks for having us on as well. And for the viewers, you know, we can't really see how many viewers are online or anything like that. Thank you so much as well for being on. And if you ran for the whole way, goddamn.
You know, this is our first one or whatever. We just want to jump on here. Obviously, they're going to get better. I ordered a webcam, so I look a lot prettier, you know, things like that.
I don't know if you can look any prettier, Todd.
I mean, I know it's a tough call that I can look any
better. You're making the call. Making the call.
Bloody Australians over here, bro.
Like a shirtless or something, you know, but I ordered a webcam, and we'll get this channel going for everybody. Now that we're in a centralized place, Revv, I'll get with you guys, and I'll give you the password to log in if you want to upload shit. And, you know, that way we can all be centralized and everybody knows where to go, because I notice our big issue is sometimes it's on your page, sometimes it's in this group, sometimes it's on that group, sometimes it's there. That way we can have one centralized place and just put the links out in all these places.
Definitely, definitely. Look, I enjoy doing the live videos as well, just to end it off on that. So, you know, I'm still going to go live on my personal page. But when we're doing this, I think this is the best way to do it right here. I can't agree with you more, because it just makes sense.
Yeah, well, like I said, a centralized place, and you can, you know, obviously, yeah, hell yeah, go live for 5 minutes or something. But when we sit down and do a show every week or something, you know, we'll have a topic every week, and we'll get some organization to it, because I'm a firm believer in business, and I own multiple businesses. So everything I do, I run like a business. My trading, you know, my marketing, my branding, the YouTube channel now, everything I do is going to be run like a business. So you can expect professional results out of us. That's where it comes down to. When you come to us, you're going to get professional results. Like, you know, that's just how it is.
I wouldn't expect anything less
far out there.
100%, my man.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, thanks for being online with us tonight, Todd. We're going to get some rest, because we're jumping on a plane and heading to Panama tomorrow. So, and we hope to see you down in Panama at some stage, either before or after ICO. So that'll be cool to catch up with you.
You know, I got to check if they washed my private jet this week, so I can get over there.
We can always pick you up.
I don't want to fly in a dirty jet, man. You know, I mean, it's just not me.
I love it, Todd. I love it. All right, brother.
All right,
thank you so much for your time, man. And we'll catch you soon, and we'll catch all the live viewers soon. Thank you so much. Take care, guys. See you, Todd.
See you later. Bye.